All right, 1 second. Okay, you go right ahead anytime you're ready, Brother Dale. It's all set up, the stream set up. Go ahead.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you for having me, Deacon Wilson, Brianna, Quinn. And yes, my name is Dale Alexander. I am the recruiter for Cal State LA. I'll be doing a highlights presentation on Cal State Los Angeles. We are the closest CSU to downtown LA. We are one of 22 different campuses. Um, Overall, the CSU is the largest public school system in the entire West Coast. So let's begin. First, our highlights presentation is just a quick overview of the university. There's tons of facts that will be not forgotten, but we just want to make sure that it's concise and complete for our students. All right,
Mhm.
all right. Here are some things, some highlights about the Golden Eagles. We are Cal State LA, the home of the Golden Eagles. Our university was founded in 1947 on top of a hill currently. Originally, we were located at the LA City College campus, and then we eventually moved to the current Ramona site. And from there, Northridge branched off from our university um, and became Northridge in the Valley. Casa de LA, we host about 22,000 students on our campus. With 55 undergraduate majors, 50 graduate majors, 10 credential programs, and 4 doctoral programs. Some unique things that I really, really do like about this university, and one of the reasons why I went there. It is an Asian American Pacific Islander serving institution. It's a Hispanic serving institution and a minority serving institution. A little bit of background for myself. I grew up in South Central. I went to Dorsey High School, Law
Oh,
Magnate.
didn't know that.
Yes, sir. Dorsey Don. I went to the Law Magnate there. I also went to Horseman Middle School, and
Oh,
I also went to Western Avenue on Western. So I'm pretty versed in Los Angeles and growing up in the inner city. I'm an immigrant from Belize. I came here when I was 8 years old. And this university was very special to me because it allowed me to keep my Central American culture while being in a place with first generation students that understood what it's like to be first gen. 70% of our students are first generation at this campus. So that is something that's very, very unique to us, and it does change some of our points of pride. In a bit, I'll talk about our points of pride at Casa LA, but I also want to point out that we are the home to LAFC, the newest soccer team in town. Their headquarters is based on our campus. They have 4 soccer fields. If you are interested in soccer, the World Cup will be held here in Los Angeles this summer. And this is a great opportunity for seniors to come on board, get involved early. And for juniors next year, the Super Bowl will take place here.
right.
We do not have a football team, but we had a football team in the 70s. They won a national championship. And since then, instead of raising the cost for the tuition, the school decided to be academic focused and keep tuition affordable for students. So I'll talk a little bit about that in my financial aid slide. But I did want to let you know that we do have a pro soccer team in our backyard, and that is something that's very, very unique, especially for students to want to do anything in sports medicine or kinesiology.
They practice on the campus?
Yes, they do.
I didn't know that.
Yes, yes. The LAFC practices here. They built their soccer fields, and often all onlookers come on and cheer on their favorite, athletes. If you are in kinesiology, our kinesiology program is rising very, very fast
Yes.
because of the partnership with the Los Angeles Football Club. On top of that, Cal State is uniquely located. We have a downtown campus, and then we also have our main campus located 4 miles east of downtown, where the 710 crosses the 10 freeway. Now, that's very, very important. The former CEO of Metro and Metrolink, current CEO of Metrolink, former CEO of Metro, built us a train station and a bus station on their
I
campus.
know, man. Look at that. Right down the hill.
Right down the hill. So one thing I really like, you don't necessarily need a car to attend class here. You can have public transit. The quickest way I usually get there is I usually make my way to the Silver Line, the 910 or the 950 as it's known. It goes down the 110 freeway. You can take it going north. It gets off in downtown, right at Figueroa and Adams. It
Take
goes
the
through
train.
downtown, takes the street. It gets back on the freeway at Union Station and bypasses traffic. So it's a smooth ride. Even right now, as an employee, I still often take the train and the bus here to campus. So that is something that's very, very unique, and I encourage students to take advantage of that. Now, let's move forward. Before I do, I also want to point out at Casa LA, we have what you call a 21 to 1 class size ratio. So for each faculty, there's 21 students. So you can get what we essentially is a private school type feel for a public school price.
Mhm.
And I'll talk a little bit about the cost and affordability of Casa LA. But the main thing is our class sizes are we have about one or two classes that might be 100 students, but we're built to be a medium-sized campus with interactions. So if students uh, have any like attention disorders, as I did, I had ADHD and things like that. I actually work better in smaller classrooms. And if you want to reach professors, they're not overwhelmed with a huge caseload. So that's something that's special. Now, point of pride. This is really where Mr. Deacon's gonna love Casa LA, and he's gonna have a lot of great talking points to share with the world. So we are again #1 in upper mobility. What that means is we take the
Yeah,
most students from the lowest tax bracket to the highest tax bracket upon graduation. Mainly that's because of the great work and the great alumni network that we have here in getting students placed into jobs. A lot of our alumni grew up in LA, lived in LA, went to school here, and continue to work in LA. And so we have a really great network that can pretty much get students into many different fields. 70% of our students are first gen, so most of them come from the inner city, lower income status. And then when they leave, they go on to make well over six figures. And so we take the most students to the highest tax bracket in the entire country, and we've been doing that for well over 10 years. Now, my class, well, the class of 2012, my original class, I graduated in 2014 with a degree in sociology in Law and Society. The 2012 class was the first class to achieve this #1 in upper mobility distinction. So I'm very proud of my classmates, and we've been upholding it ever since. Um, yes, sir. And that's something that I'm extremely happy. And that case is actually the source. Case is a Harvard study uh,
right.
um, research project. So that's coming from Harvard, and they think that we are #1 in upper mobility based on their research. I'll get a little bit into why and how we make that happen for our students in our financial aid slides, so please do bear with me. We are recently designated as the R2 Research School by the
Hmm.
Carnegie Institute.
Hmm.
Mainly our engineers are doing a lot of great jobs with alternative energy, with the hydrogen car station we have on campus. Historically, we had the Solar Eagle, which is our solar powered cars, and a lot of research also in the STEMs and the biology have led to us being an R2 research school. Now, traditionally, Cal States are hands-on learning, primarily based to get you hands-on learning to go into the workforce. Usually, UCs are basically research schools. So now we're now considered a research school, which means that we can get a lot more funding for research, grants, and give students opportunities and fellowships to work with professors on researches. So this is something that's new to us, and it's something that I absolutely love. We have the minorities more program, which is minorities opportunities in research and education. We partner with Tuskegee Institute and UC Irvine to make that happen. And these are world-renowned research programs that students can participate in. So this is to me is a huge, huge deal for Cal State LA, and it will change the way our school is looked at in the next 5 to 10 years. Some other points of pride. We have the first Chicano Studies program in the United States, founded in 1968. Since then, that has grown into the second College of Ethics Studies. The first College of Ethics Studies was founded in SF State, and we were
Hmm.
able to have the second. Now, Cal State LA has full degrees that you can get in Latin American studies, Asian American studies, Chicano studies, African American studies. These are 4-year degrees in culture, essentially. So these are something that's special and something that we do pride ourselves with having access for students to want to know more about their history. We are a top 10 public school on the West Coast, according to U.S. News and World Report. We've moved up about, I want to say in the last 10 years, we've
Yeah,
moved we moved up very far on that list. We are regarded as the number 8 public school on the West Coast. So I am extremely happy, and I'm glad to see that U.S. News continuing to show us such high regards. Some other things I like to point out: we are the home to the Heinsberg Davis Forensic Science Center. Now, this is a big deal because that Forensic Science Center houses a crime lab that's used by the LAPD and the sheriff. They
right,
use it every single day to solve crimes. So anyone that wants to go into criminalistics, if they want to do forensics, criminal justice, it's good to be on this campus because we have a lot of a real big, large legal community. 5 different options and ways to law school. We also have at the master's level or forensics program is ranked number 3 in the country, top 5 forensics program. So you'll be learning from a lot of the same professors at the undergraduate level, and having a whole center dedicated to that that solves over 230,000 crimes every year is a astronomically important to so many different careers. And so to be the center of that has been a point of pride for Costa LA. We have the LA Biospace Incubator, which is a partnership with the LA County and LA City in trying to help students get into biospace. So coming out of COVID, bioengineering, my apologies. So in the bioengineering field, if there's any bio entrepreneurs and people starting businesses, coming from COVID, there's been a high demand for students and businesses in that space. And so the city is providing grants, an incubator for entrepreneurs that want to go into anything in biochemistry. So that's something that's special for them. And then, of course, we have our Patricia Shin School of Nursing, and that holds a simulator. That simulator is why our school is ranked in the top 100 nursing schools in the country. That simulates the entire process of nursing. So it's been top 100, number 97 in the country as of recent for well over 10 years. Long before I got here, our nursing school continues to shine
right.
and and be a national pride for Cal State LA. We recently got a new president of our university, Miss Bernicia Johnson Ains. She is the first female and black woman of Cal State LA. So as president, she decided to keep the motto "We Are LA," just to emphasize our importance and our student makeup of we are actual people from LA. A lot of our other schools have transplants. Most of us grew up and decided to stay here for education. So we are very, very prideful when it comes to that. With that being said, we want you to start here. We want you to finish here. We want you to become Golden Eagle, be part of the Cal State LA experience, build meaningful connections. If you become a Golden Eagle, the sooner you do that, the sooner you have access to internships, the sooner you have access to research opportunities, the sooner you can meet people, the more time you have to essentially get what you need from higher education. So we do encourage you to start your research now. Start adding people now on LinkedIn. If you see some names on the next screen, I will talk about some of our alumni. So these are some of our more famous alumni, and I won't spend too much time talking about the titles they hold, but these are some really, really heavy hitters. Now I'm gonna start off with Miss Maxine, Auntie Maxine. We all know Auntie Maxine. Auntie Maxine got her degree in Costa del A in 1971 in sociology, as I did. She went on to be a full lifelong politician representing California in Washington, D.C. as a representative for the 43rd District. So she's been there for quite some time. Very, very proud. And sometimes I would see her in the grocery store. So it's really good to see, politicians and leaders in the community And this is one person I speak about every single day. Is Auntie Maxine. Below Auntie Maxine is another politician named Sasha Renee Perez. Sasha Renee Perez was a classmate of mine. Sasha is the youngest California senator ever elected to the California Senate. She's the two-time mayor of Alhambra. Alhambra is the closest city to our campus.
Hmm.
She attended Alhambra High School. She decided to come here, took a degree in political science, went back and became elected mayor twice, and then eventually she ran in the last election to become a California state senator. And she's the youngest to do it at the age of 34. So I think she'll be a lifelong politician. And it's a testament in proving that if you want to go into politics, if you want to go into any type of civil service too, this is the campus for you. We have um, uh, several ways for students to do that. Um, but I don't want to spend too much time on that. I also want to point out Mr. Isaac Loren. Now, this guy got his engineering degree from Casa LA. Mr. Isaac Loren is the CEO of MGM Entertainment. What makes him really, really special, he is responsible for creating the Bratz dolls. Yep, he used his degree to create the Bratz dolls. So if you ever heard of Bratz, the rivals to Barbie, um, he took a cultural spin and he decided to create that and give some representation for young women, especially black women, with their own dolls that look like them. So I really do thank Mr. Isaac Loren. He has the largest privately owned toy manufacturing company. He followed up his success with Bratz with some toys called LOL Surprises. That is also his invention. Those things kind of drew me crazy. I ain't gonna lie to you, Deacon.
Yeah.
My little nieces
Yeah.
used to figure out all types of way to get me to buy these LOL surprises.
Yes, I know about those.
So Mr. Isaac Lorraine is responsible for that. We have Miss Billie Jean King as well. If you ever visit her campus, Miss Billie Jean King is the tennis goat, as we call her. She is
Right.
the world's most decorated female tennis player. We all know about and Serena Williams. We all love Serena. Serena is one Grand Slam away from tying Miss Billie Jean's record, which is why she has not retired. I really hope that she does, and Miss Billie Jean really hopes that one day she can get that last Grand Slam so we can finally pass that torch. So that is something that we look forward. Miss Billie Jean King is an activist. She did a lot of work in civil rights and gender equality. On top of that, Miss Billie Jean King really recently re-enrolled in the Cal Soleil to go back to school. And I say that education is going to last you a long time, your entire lifetime. The earlier you go to school, the more use of the education and the better investment it is. So if you happen to go to Cal State LA and get a free ride, it's not a $0 ride. You still invested time, you still invested effort, and the earlier you do that, the more you can actually get from your degree. Some other people I like to point out. We have two prominent actors, Mr. Alan Arkin and Mr. Edward James Olmos. We
Hmm.
have a also a person that's not listed on here, but I'll always bring up is Mr. Kareem Grimes. Mr. Kareem Grimes is also a Dorsey graduate. He is on All American, a very popular show that tells
Right.
the story of Dorsey Crenshaw. And Kareem Grimes is very active in the community. He was in the Pan African Film Festival a couple weeks ago,
Oh, I didn't
and
know that.
yes, yes, and so I always include him in my presentations as well. Miss Lauren Lopez Trixer currently works at Warner Brothers. As you know, Warner Brothers is being um, bought out currently between Netflix and Paramount, and she's sitting at the senior vice president position. She's been there for very long time for unscripted television, and a real good asset for students that want to go into Hollywood or any type of production. Now, the last person is if anyone on here wants to go into medical, anything medical, this is one person you must know. He is the CEO of Los Angeles General Medical Center, Mr. Jorge Ozarko. Mr. Jorge Ozarko, LAC USC as it's formerly known, is currently called the Los Angeles General Medical Center. It's two freeway exits away from us. And as a CEO of that hospital, he has pretty much access to a lot of opportunities for students. Everything from if they need clinical hours, if they need internships, if they need an actual job, they usually go to his hospital and essentially poach his employees. And so he's part of our alumni network. and he actively speaks at our alumni events. So I definitely always bring him up. Now I'll pause for a little bit. Please do feel free to ask any questions in the chat, and we'll try to answer them up. On screen is our most popular programs for fall, based on fall 2024 enrollment. Obviously, there are programs that we're more notable for, but this is based on enrollment. Let's be clear. Um,
Yes.
so business administration, we have over 3,100 current business administration students. Business is the largest college. Very good business program, especially at the master's level, top five master's program in Southern California. Very, very affordable compared to some of the other MBAs you can get. So
Hmm.
something down the line, I always encourage students if you want to come back and get with business people, it's all about return on investment. And so this is one way that I can say Castle has definitely provided that. Psychology has risen to the second most popular based on enrollment. Psychology has passed criminal justice as our second largest major based on enrollment. Next is child development and biology. Now, child development, we have several other options for early childhood education. Cal started as a school of education, and we do pride ourselves in having a very, very large educational college, and we do in Southern, I think like about close to 50% of LAUSD teachers got their teaching credentials from Costa LA.
Hmm.
There were a lot of students. Once they go away for college, they come back and they want to go into the teaching field. They end up going to Costa LA because of the accessibility, the affordability, and the track record from other teachers of um, how we teach our pedagogy here. Some unique fields of study that I always mention is our engineering technology program. We have an engineering technology program where engineers can learn about the technologies that are used in engineering. We have a fire protection and administration program, which is a transfer only program. Now, this one's very important.
Yes.
If you go to a community college and you take your fire science courses there, you can transfer over and get your full 4-year degree in fire protection administration. And I
We
always
have two
mention,
students that have done that.
oh, really?
They're working in the fire department now.
I love it. I love it. And
Yeah.
we need firefighters. I call them
Yes.
superheroes.
Yes.
Anyone's willing to step up to the challenge, God bless you and please do so. Because in California, the wildfires and the Santa Ana
Yeah.
winds
Right.
and the history, it's not something new to anyone that's local here. But I know the rest of based on the past recent events in Altadena and Palisades have opened up a lot of people's eyes who haven't lived here to things that have been concerning for many years. So I do recommend students look into this degree if they want to be firefighters, and after they become a firefighter, they can go on to be an administrator. These are the people that deal with the technology, that handles the paperwork, handles the budgets. The police chief. The last time I checked, some of their salaries can be somewhere around the 400, close to half a
Yeah.
million dollar range.
Exactly.
So it's a very, very lucrative degree to have. We also have the rehabilitation services program, which is very, very popular and very, very useful, especially in this time. um, we definitely want to recommend students if you want to go into rehab services, work with our kinesiology program. They provide a great help, especially with the aging population. Now, when I speak to students, this is the part where I kind of go off track and I'll do it again. We are in a special time where baby boomers are retiring, and we are looking at this current generation as the generation that needs to do a lot of the things that former generations have done, like take care of their parents, take care of the elderly. Um, and the way how that's going to be done is I took a class in gerontology, which is the study of getting old. And in gerontology, 10 years ago, my professor warned me that there is not enough people in rehab services, there's not enough people in caretaking. And as a sociologist, I must tell this generation we are looking for you to assist or the largest and most wealthiest population to ever um, live, essentially, in the history of the world here in America, which is a blessing. And that's my PSA to the youth of the world. We need you to help in these fields. Now, a quick admissions profile on Casa de Ley. This is some of the hard numbers. This is some of the stuff the parents like to see and what they would like to know. Now, if you look at freshmen, we actually get over 35,000 applicants every year. Pretty
Mm.
standard, pretty good. We admit about 32,000 of them. But here's the tricky part. The reason why our admissions are so high is a lot of our students come from Southern California and California. If you are from California, the GPA requirement that's needed, the cutoff is 2.5. If you're not from California, it goes to a 3.0. So if you are from California, you are getting a benefit by attending a CSU, and that's by design. In 1960, there was something called the California Master Plan that kind of set up this framework for California and their school systems. And what that did was it allocated 60% of our funding to come from the state. And so the state cannot turn around and say, hey, we're going to take tax dollars, pay for 60% of your university and not let people in. And so by default, we must let you in if you meet our minimum requirements and if there's space. If we run out of space, that's when the campus becomes impacted, and that's when you can see requirements get elevated. But if there's space in the classroom, if there's opportunity for students to learn, we at the CSU wants to be the most affordable and accessible option for Californians. Make sense?
Hmm.
Now, the interesting thing is at Costa LA, our average GPA of admitted students was 3.43. So even though or cutoff is 2.5 for California residents, the average GPAs for freshmen was 3.43 and 3.34 for transfers. So there's no slouching, there's no slacking at this university. We're an academic focus based university, and it shows. Our students go on to do really well, have really good professors here, and the
Hmm.
GPA shows. So
Yeah.
that is our emissions profile. And it's very important for people to understand how and why this exists because California did you a huge favor. Um, uh, we do not also look at your ninth grade year when determining your grades, and I'll talk about that when I go over the requirements. Now, beyond the classroom, this is the fun part. We got study abroad. You can take um I'll talk a little bit more about that, about studying abroad. We have a TV, film, and media center that you can participate in. At the TV, film, and media center is actually where I spent a lot of my time, and where I made a lot of my friends. And this is how I was able to build Costa LA's Golden Eagle TV and radio station from hanging out in this media center and just networking. I understood as a sociologist that media is a very large tool to communicate, and mass media has been used to shape ideas and spread messages. And I wanted to be a part of that as a sociologist, so I decided to get actively involved into the media. We have the mobility center. Again, it goes hand in hand with our aging population and people who get injured on the job, athletes. We also engage in research to help people with injuries. We also have field internships. So the whole point here of Cal Tele is to get you hands-on education, get you in the field, get you trained and ready to work. And so these field work internships is primarily how we do it. So you will see several opportunities for that. Now, back to study abroad. We have 15 different countries. I always recommend students, if you can fit it into your schedule, do it your second or your third year. Your freshman year, you want to spend some time meeting people, getting acclimated to the campus. When you get to your second and third year, branch off. We have additional 40 different countries at this university, along with 15 countries that the CSU partners with throughout all our campuses for students to study abroad. I've seen everything from Brazil to Ghana, to London.
Hmm.
I've seen Mexico. I've seen Japan, and it goes on and on. There is a portal that you can check out on their website that shows you. And I get this question all the time too. Yes, you can use your financial aid to
Right.
help cover, um, study abroad. And when I talk about financial aid, I want everyone to pay attention and grab notes, start taking notes because essentially, we don't want you to pay for these opportunities. We want to make sure that you get it funded through the various options that we have. Now, freshmen, I'm gonna spend some time talking to our seniors, and then also our juniors and our sophomores. Do note that Pretty much these are the requirements that you're gonna need when you're coming in as a freshman here at Cal State LA. So again, the CSU has a minimal eligibility through all 22 campuses, and it's all pretty much the same. A campus will raise its eligibility standards based on seats. So if a campus is impacted, it doesn't have enough seats. That's what impaction means. It doesn't mean that the campus is better or worse. It just means that they have more application than they have seats. Now, we do look at your A through G courses. The A through G courses is what's needed to graduate in high school. The main thing that we want to point out here is that you need a C minus or better to attend college. You can graduate high school with a D, but to go to college, you need C's. I personally spent my entire senior year in adult school making up uh,
Yeah.
my D's.
Hmm.
I also enrolled in a community college and tried to get college level math and English. I was unsuccessful in that, but it did give me an idea of where I stand um on that, I guess, spectrum of college level English and math. At the time I tested into remedial courses, there's no longer remedial courses. That has been removed from our curriculum, which, in my opinion, I don't think was to the best, because you might need a refresher on some of the earlier math and English principles that you might not have learned since the seventh, eighth grade. You know, things like long division, and things like that might hold some students back. So there are a lot of tutoring opportunities and resources to help students outside of that, but we primarily look at your GPA when we determine who gets accepted into Cal State LA. The GPA requirement, as I mentioned before, is 2.5 minimum. For California residents, we do not look at your ninth grade though when we calculate your GPA. We do look at your ninth grade when we calculate your A through G courses, but we do not look at your ninth grade when we calculate your GPA. Another reason and another thank you from the California government in making sure that their students have a really favorable chance of staying here for their education. Now, um, if your GPA is below the minimum, there are several things you can do. You can qualify through a multi-factor review process. I actually did not go through that process. I went through something called EOP, and I'll talk about that in a little while. And that's for a lot of students that might need it. Now, the English language proficiency is for students who might have attended a high school less than 3 years in California, or English language proficiency requirement. Just wants to let you know that our primary mode of teaching here at the university is English, and we do expect our students to have a mastery of the English language. So if you did less than 3 years, you might have to provide a proficiency test. If you did more than 3 years at a high school, there's no need, and we can see that on your transcripts, and you'll be able to continue. Do note that our Bachelor's in Music or BM program and our pre-nursing program, applicants do have to meet certain criteria for those programs, additional currently for freshmen.
Right.
Now, A through G courses. If you don't know what your A through G courses are, we broke them down clearly here for you. We have area A, which is history and social science. One of those must be U.S. history. The second one must be another social science. You need all 4 years of English. So for the seniors, do not slack off on your last year. Please make sure you pass your last year English because you do have a provisional admittance into any university. If you do not pass your last year in English, that will affect your standings. So make sure that you do take your English class serious. It's not done until it's done. Okay. Mathematics. Most universities require 3 years. Algebra 1, geometry, and algebra 2. And do note that for validation, it has to be the same sequence. So algebra cannot validate geometry, but algebra 2 can validate algebra 1. And
Hmm.
and if you ever need questions on validation and what that means, you can talk to a mission professional like myself. You can talk to your counselor. They're all trained to tell you what validation means. But the whole concept of validation is if you pass the second pass of a like a B portion of a course, we assume that you learned everything in the A portion of that course.
Hmm.
If you pass algebra 2, we assume that you learned everything in algebra 1. You cannot use geometry because geometry is a whole nother discipline separate from algebra. Make sense?
Yep.
If you're gonna go into anything in STEM, we recommend that um students take 4 years if you're gonna go into any STEM field. Um, it's very important that you can prove that you can master the mathematics needed to make it through the STEM, and so a lot of universities look at that as a distinction when trying to evaluate students. Now, for the laboratory science, 1 year must be biological science, and 1 year must be a physical science like chemistry, um, or physics or something like that. But one must be like biology, the other could be physiology is also considered a biological science, and other physical sciences. They range, but you do need one of each, 2 years in total. Now, languages other than English, similar to mathematics, must be in the same sequence. So you got to take 2 years of math. Can't do 1 year French, 1 year Spanish. That's not gonna work. So similar to that, it has to be 2 years of Spanish or 2 years of French or 2 years of whatever foreign language. Last but not least, we want to focus on the F areas, which is the visual and performance arts. You need 2 semesters or 1 year in the same discipline as well, and at least one college preparatory elective. Usually, if there's an extra year in any of these other areas, counselors usually move that class down to the G area and allow you to get college preparatory elective credits for it. Now, the multi-factor review is something that we implemented here, especially for our local high schools. If you are from South Central, East LA, or Pasadena area, we have Go East LA, Go Central, and the Pasadena Promise, and that gives you a 15% boost if you're ever on the borderline. So, say you have a 2.4, we're going to take that into account that you are from the community. We're going to look at your A through G courses, and that counts about 59% of what we evaluate for students that might be slightly below the minimum. And then another thing that we take into account is the applicant's attributes. So if they're first gen, low income, foster youth, military status, if they've been a part of any educational programs, uh, their work status or extracurricular activities. I myself had tons of things going on in high school, outside of school. I played football. I went to a New Creation Christian Faith Center. I was often um, out in the streets volunteering, witnessing, doing tons of things that had nothing to do with my academics, which actually took a toll on my grades. Between sports and my extracurricular activities, that doesn't really show up in the grades. And so we do take 26 percent of that into account when we look in multi-factor reviews. I'll talk a little bit more about EOP, but before I get into that, that's how I got into the university. I do want to talk about or special programs that do have elevated requirements. Or BM or Bachelor's in Music or BM program as it's mostly known, um, does come with audition piece. So the difference between this is a bachelor's in music is different than a bachelor's of arts in music. A bachelor's of arts in music will teach you history, theory, things like that. It's the overall understanding of music. A bachelor's in music is primarily a performance degree. And therefore, we want to make sure that you have an audition and that you actually can, if you're using a vocal instrument, um, this was where you'll sing, and if you play a traditional instrument, this is where you'll perform to make sure that you are of standard to enter into the university. Now, our pre-nursing program, as I mentioned, is probably the hardest program to get into at Casa LA. Not mainly the issue with this is class size. There's a law that's been passed that says there must be a ratio maintained between class size. And with that being said, our pre-nursing requires students to have a 3.5 GPA in all A through G coursework. You have to complete a B or better on the first attempt of math, biology, or chemistry. So you don't get a second attempt. They're going to look at the B. If you don't think you meet these requirements, I always suggest students um, go to a community college, transfer in. If you apply to our nursing program, you only get one time. You don't get to go back and apply again. So make sure that when you do apply, everything is uh, to the T. You're putting your best foot forward. We don't want you to waste an application, and also um, when you apply to the nursing program, this is just a pre-nursing program. You're gonna have to maintain that GPA throughout the first 2 years of your time at the university. So just because you have a 3.5 in high school doesn't mean that that 3.5 will carry over at the college level, and you still will need to have a very high GPA once it's time to apply directly to or Patricia Nursing School. So very, very tough to get into top 100 nursing program. And I'll explain why when we get to financial aid, why people absolutely love that program. Now, I do want to spend some time on housing and residency life. We built brand new dorms 3 years ago in 2023 on our campus for our underclassmen, for freshmen, steps away from campus so you can get to all the activities on campus, games. If you want to go to like any sporting games and events, we do have a dining hall in our campus. The dining hall I do recommend students check out because it is buffet style. It's all you can eat. They change it out 3 times a day. They didn't have that when I was there, so it's just something that I absolutely love now that I'm back is I can during the summer times I spend most of my time down there eating some really good gourmet food um that they prepare in our dining hall and housing. You don't have to be a student in housing um to check out the dining hall. Anyone can come by and and participate and eat down there. For the students that are going to commute, I do want to spend some time and talk about the commuter life versus living on campus and resident life. As I mentioned before, we do have trains and a bus station that you can use to access Cal State LA. Those buses hub from all local municipalities. So regardless of where you are, as far east as Montebello, San Bernardino, the Foothill Transit also stops here. Um, if you are in the valley, you can take the orange line, the red line to Union Station, transfer to our university that way. If you're south, there are several different buses, including the Culver City bus, the Santa Monica, all the local buses from Southern California area has a space and a stop here at Cal State LA. So that is something that's special for our commuters. Now, if you live in housing, we do have themed living communities for our students if you want to live with other STEM students. All our Black students are grouped under what is called the Halisi's Scholars. Dr. Halisi, was a professor of mine, taught in the Pan African Resource, um, Pan African Studies degree. And Dr. Halisi, to honor his name, we named all our programs after him and his legacy and his honor. So if you see Halisi on our campus, it's primarily for our Black students. Um, don't tell Donald Trump. Um, for transfer students, they can also live in the community um, with other transfer students, and we have other themed communities. Now, all the rooms are furnished with Wi-Fi, lounge, study spaces. Everything is included. Nothing for students to bring in. They can use their financial aid or what's left over after tuition to help fund their housing. With that being said, we have 24 support for staff. We have um, several different options for students if they want to get into student life. And part of why I recommend living on campus is so you can access a lot of the student life. Living on campus is a lot different. Um, but you don't have to. It's not a mandatory that students live on campus. Some schools do require freshmen to live on campus, so please do check with your school and see if that is an option. Here at Cal Soleil, it's not a requirement. Just a recommendation. We do have over 120 clubs and orgs. I myself was a part of 4 of them. I started to. I mentioned Golden Eagle Radio and Golden Eagle TV, which I founded. But some other ones that I participated in was the Black Student Union. Been around for a very long time, very influential in shaping um, different college communities for in events and just keeping us all together throughout the CSU. The BSU is essential for students. On top of that, I also was a part of Earth LA, which spurred my interest in conservatism and just trying to conserve the environment and make the world a cleaner place. So those were some clubs that I involved myself in, and currently I started a nonprofit called We Love Belize based on my interest in that, and so
Ah,
that's where
that's what's up.
that kind of flourished into where it needs to be. We do have 13 athletic D2 schools at our campus. Our girls basketball team just won the CCAA, which is our
Yeah, I
conference
saw that.
championship, and now they're on to the NCAA tournament. So really,
Nice.
really shout out to them. The girls are hopefully they can go deep into the March Madness festivities, and we're rooting for them. This weekend will be round number one. Last year, our girls volleyball team actually won a national championship.
Oh, I didn't know that. Hmm.
Yes, yes, they did. Emily Elliott, a recent graduate, she now plays pro volleyball in Puerto Rico. Hopefully, she can. You'll see her name sometime during the Olympics. But she is the NCAA D2 all-time kill leader. Um,
Oh,
yes, so she broke the record for the most kills in girls volleyball in the entire country, and hopefully she can hold on to that record for quite some time. So we do have a D2 program, but we are very successful. Our soccer team won the national championship in 2023 and our baseball in 2019. So we got a lot of national championships, and we even have an individual national champion in track um, as recent as 2024. So we have some really good athletic programs at the D2 level. Now, some signature events I like to point out. We have our own night at Dodger Stadium. We also have our own night at the LAFC, where as a campus, we go out to these games as a university. We have the Halisi Steppers, which is our step team, and they do a great job representing our campus in the community. ASI. Now, ASI is an actual business called Associate Students Incorporated. They are an incorporated company that is allocated $400,000 budget. Now that's quite a lot of money. Now I would say that my ASI did a great job of planning events. That's probably what ASI does with that funding. But they use it basically to keep campus lively. When I was here, I was able and previewed and absolutely had a great time in Casa LA. I was able to see people like Drake, Janae Aiko, um,
whoa,
Big Sean. We brought Dom Kennedy by, Nipsey Hussle. All of these
nice.
artists way before they were household names,
Right.
and we were able to bring them into the community. A lot of our classmates, my classmates, I should say, was able to network and help a lot of us later on in our careers in various areas. So I really do thank our ASI for using that money and actually providing quality programming. Now, some student support services, and we're almost there. We got a couple more slides. I know I've been talking for a while, but this is primarily some services that I want to allow our students to know exist here at the campus. We have academic support. Academic advising is primarily the place you'll go to pick your classes, to help you pick your career if you want to change your major. Most freshmen have up to 2 years before they have to select a major, and so your academic advisor can assist with that. The first year experience is a new office here that we built primarily for orientation and to keep family members involved in the college process. We understand that higher education isn't something that anyone should do on their own, and we do encourage families to stay active. And we created an office called the First Year Experience for that. Now, the Educational Opportunity Program, I'll talk about on my next slide because, of course, I am an alumni of the EOP program, and I do want to make sure I give that its time. The C Success program is a technology loan program. We actually got iPads given to us by Apple. And so students can take out loans. So there's a loan. You can use the iPads and laptops if you need to. We do have that for students to use while they're enrolled here at Cal State LA. We have wellness and counseling programs, basic needs and support. So if you ever need something like, say, if you need to get EBT or you need, we have a office to help students fill out the paperwork for programs like that. We have counseling and psychological services, and also a student service center for the well-being and overall health of our students. We have community and belonging. In this area, we focus on making sure that we can, be an asset to students outside of just learning, but also we have ways where you can meet people from other cultures through our cross-cultural center. I spend a lot of time there, just sharing my perspective of being Afro Latino in LA. A lot of people think I'm African American, but being an immigrant, and I have a lot of cross things that I can share with a lot of other cultures. And this is a place where I basically got to learn about a lot of my African brothers. I had a friend that I met there that eventually became my gateway to Afrobeats, and he introduced me to Burna Boy in 2015, and I recently got to work on Burna Boy's last tour. And these are all connections that I made hanging out in the Cross Culture Center. So I'm encouraging students to take these networking opportunities seriously. You never know where they're going to lead you. Now, the Glazier Family Dreamers Resource Center is a hot topic. This is for undocumented students. We do provide legal resources for immigration if they need lawyers. They can get it free of charge there, free legal help. If they need funding for school, they help them with accessing funding to pay for the university. And this is something that it really touches me. Again, I'm from Central America, and I did see the first class of Dreamers graduate with me. They started in 2008, and they got out in 2012, and it was amazing to see them even have an opportunity like this. And so this resource center is very, very valuable and for that community, and we do want to make sure we put that out there that we have a great community. We will have the guardian scholars for our foster youth. When
Yes.
I was growing up, there was quite a bit of foster youth in my class, and so we do have a guardian scholars program that deal directly with that. And if there's any children of veterans or any military themselves, the Veteran Resource Center can provide all the help and support. Last but not least, the last service that I want to point out is our Office for Students with Disabilities. We are really, really big on access inclusion. The director of this office has been here quite some time, well over 30 years. He is amazing. If you ever get to meet him, they do take care of their students there. And I even found out I had a disability of my own. Turns out I'm dyslexic. And so I'm doing a great job reading right now. But it takes quite a bit more practice for someone like me to stare at words because sometimes words look misspelled even though they're spelled correctly. And so I just got to kind of trust and go and move as if I have it. Now, I do want to spend some time talking about the Education Opportunity Program, as this is how I was specially admitted into the university. When I applied to Cal State LA my senior year at Dorsey, I had a 2.2 GPA. I didn't think I was going to go to college. The recruiter explained that with that GPA, you're probably going to get denied, but still apply. There is a way. And it was EOP. I believed him. I went through the process. Turns out my senior year, I got a 4.0, raised my GPA all the way from a 2.0, 2.2 to be exact, all the way to a 2.8. Now, I couldn't actually take and retake my Spanish course, which I had 1D in, which uh,
Ah.
would stop me from fulfilling my A through G requirements. And so it wasn't the GPA that kept me out of college. It was I couldn't go back and redo Spanish. The reason why I was spending most of my time setting a high score for Dorsey in academic decathlon. I won the academic decathlon my senior year. Got a perfect score in television. And I was the only black student on the stage. Everyone else was going to Ivy League schools, and they asked me what school I was going to, and I told them I didn't have one. Um, Everyone gasped and like, yeah, it happens. Not everyone, planned for college, and I definitely didn't. My mom was a teacher. My plan was to go to Santa Monica and eventually transfer to a university once I got my grades up. The recruiter said, "Hey, you can do that. I'm not against it, but I don't want to see you figure it out on your mom's couch. I've seen this story happen too many times. You're way too
Hmm.
brilliant to sit on the couch and not have a plan. How about you go to college, take some classes, figure out what you want to do. I said, all right, that sounds like a better plan. And financial aid was one of the ways that he was able to do it. But he told me that I would need to go through the summer bridge program through EOP. And he says, look, you're gonna get funding. You know, I looked at your background, I looked at everything about you. You're first gen, you're immigrant, you should be fine. But what I need for you to do is sign up for EOP because they have support for you. They have counseling. They allow you to register for classes early. They'll even give you a grant for being the first person in your family to attempt college. And I said, you know what? That sounds like a great shot. So I put in the application. I did the letters of recommendation is needed. I will talk to my one of them has to be a teacher. The other could be somebody like a coach. I asked my academic decathlon coach to fill out one for me. Sure enough, I came in as first gen, low income, and educationally disadvantaged student. And I was eligible, and that's how I was able to have. I gave up my summer, and I was able to pass math and English during the summertime, and that's how I was admitted into the university. So EOP has been around since 1960, and it's been a gem of a program. It is state funded. If it was federally funded, I'm sure they would try to cut it. So please, let's take care of what we do have. And if you do qualify, do not skip that portion of the application because it's very important. I've seen many people, EOP has saved more students than I can count. I'll give you another. My grandma died in 2012, and my GPA slipped below 2.0. I was on academic probation. Normally, what they would do is send you back to a community college. But thanks to EOP, I got to stay on campus and get my GPA up within one semester. And I eventually graduated, and and I thank EOP for that because I didn't have to deal with the shame and the regret and everything that would have came by having to pack my dorm up and go back to the community college. And so that allowed me to stay in the community and focus. And so I really do thank EOP for that. And I usually don't share that story, but I did want to share a testament that if people believe in you, they'll make things happen, and you got to believe in yourself, and God's gonna open up doors. So don't close any doors that you may see. Now we're almost there. This is the slide that we've all been waiting for. Parents, kids, the money, right? Now I want it's not written on the screen, but currently the tuition cost of Cal State LA is $7,600 per year, not per semester, per year.
Right.
$7,680.
That's
We
the
are
point.
we are number one in the entire country, according to money.com, as the most bang for buck university. So based on that price, they think you can't get a better education than Cal State LA at $7,600 per year. Um, I think Forbes has us ranked number seven on
Now, I
their
was gonna
list.
say, doesn't Forbes have you second or something?
No, Forbes has us number seven, and
Oh,
money.com has us number one.
yeah, there's another one too, but okay, yeah.
But either way you look at it,
No,
we're in the
no,
top
yeah, no,
10
no, no. You're in the top.
of we're in the top 10, and you can't beat that. I mean, for the level of education, I had five Ivy League professors myself. They all went to Harvard, Yale, Stanford. Even though Stanford's not an Ivy League, I counted.
No, no.
These are the people that taught me, and they did it. And I asked them, like, if you have such high accolades, why are you teaching at a state? He says because you are essentially the student that I want to teach. Since most other school students come from privileged backgrounds, they're just at college because they're trying to keep their family legacy going. You're actually trying to do something here that no one in your family's ever done, and I want to help you do it. And I was like, all right, I can rock with that. I'm not gonna hate on it. And so I listened to my professors, and it made it happen for me. Now I can say the average financial aid package this year is a little bit less than the year previously. The year previously, we gave out $13,600 on the average package. This year, it fell to $12,000. But the good thing is, it's still more money than the cost of tuition. So there is something called a refund check. Students do receive a refund check. I use that to actually start several businesses. And then once that money ran out, I went ahead and got more financial aid through loans to start the Golden Eagle Radio and Golden Eagle TV here on campus. Some of the businesses I started my own marketing company, my own record label, and my own transportation business using my financial aid. So I'm saying that as a testament. Y'all can do the same. Do note that right now there are changes in financial aid at the federal level. So please do review your award letters thoroughly. Make real impactful decisions. One thing that is new at Cal State since I got here and returned is they have a portal with 400 different scholarships only for Cal State students. This was not here when I was a student. Let's be clear. Usually, what I would have to do is scour the internet, look for scholarships, hopefully that they were real, hopefully they weren't scams. And so, what Cal State LA did was, is they decided to make a portal of actual legit money that students can apply to. Instead of filling out 400 different applications, they made it one application, and then they now use AI to match your application with the scholarships that you best fit. And so you fill out one application. You don't get access to this portal until your second year here at Cal State LA because you have to be an actual student and you have to go through at least one semester and be committed to actually get access. But last year we gave out $273 million worth of grants and scholarships. The year before we gave out $284 million of grants and scholarships. They are a lot and lot, I mean a lot of money for 22,000 students. This is an enormous amount. So please, if you do decide to stay in LA, this is an option that I always bring up for students and parents when considering the financial packages from financial aid. Last thing I will say is scholarships. You can apply to them every single year. I wasn't under, no one ever actually told me that, and I'm telling you now. You can apply to scholarships your freshman, your junior, your sophomore, your senior year. Even as a grad student, then you might can find some financial help. So please do not sleep on scholarships. There are students that have bought homes using their financial aid, scholarship money. I was on a couple panels in during February on the Black College Expo where there was two students that were known as financial aid millionaires, meaning that they have accumulated over $1 million in grants and scholarships. Let that be clear. So you can be paid and you can be paid to learn. Whereas in high school, someone's telling you to go to class. Here at the university level, no one's going to tell you to go to class. But some of the motivation for a lot of students is this is their job to learn, to do research, to educate themselves. It does help make society better. And instead of paying tax money to to the government, they leave scholarships here for students. So that is my spiel. Here's a quick timeline of what it will take for you to get to Cal State LA. This is the entire enrollment process. I know we have about 10 more minutes in the presentation, and currently we are in March, moving closer to April. In April, we do have an open house for our seniors called Preview Day. Um, but I do want to fast forward to some of the other events for our underclassmen. So in times like November, her application opens, it closes around December every year. That is pretty much when we'll have an Eagle Fest. We'll have an open house for everyone to come on by and see. Preview Day is specifically for students that are seniors and have been admitted. So if you have been admitted and I do recommend you to come to our next Preview Day on August 18th. And for everyone else, um, you are on a different timeline. So as the year move around, please do join our mailing list and look out for some of our upcoming events. Usually the first term of the fall semester is in August. So for our seniors, you will start with us August 24th. And and for underclassmen like the juniors, if you do decide to attend, the first day of school will be in August of next year. Here's a quick slide that we created for each class with our 12th grade seniors, trying to encourage them to finish strong. Again, do not slack off. The higher your GPA, the more scholarships you can get. You got your last year English that you need to take for it, that you need to complete with a C or better. And if you have honors and APs, please make sure that you get threes and above, so that way you don't have to take them again at the college level. If you take advanced math courses, that can be a big interest in determining your career. If you're in the STEM field, calculus or pre-calculus is a good look, and we definitely recommend students take that. If you go to community college or you're dually enrolling classes, those classes do count as well. So that is something to take uh, account for or juniors. Keep those grades up, so you can continue to move forward in your senior year and do well in your CASP exam. Um, as it's used, to kind of provide a lot of funding for your high school. So we do want to encourage students to actually take those tests seriously, so your schools can continue to be funded. 10th grades, some are underclassmen. I know a lot of this information might seem far away, but it's really not. 10th grade is when we start looking at your GPA. So you want to make sure that from there on out, keep a real strong GPA, which allows you to apply to several different options. We already talked about fall events, but I do want to allow some time for people to answer questions. So here is our contact information on screen. I'll leave this on screen while we take any
Okay.
questions.
We got one from online here that's applying now. If they apply and have this came from YouTube Live.
Okay, great, great.
So if they apply now as seniors, they're looking at that. They're going to call me tomorrow at the church. By the way, I interacted with them. Um,
Okay.
how long do they expect to hear? And they're interested in on-campus housing. So, what's the time? How long does it usually take them to turn around an application this time of the year when they've already looked at their first group? Will it be in a month, 6 weeks? This person meets the A through G easily.
Okay, so pretty much what happens is if you look at your GPA and we see that you're not borderline, it's an easier evaluation. Now on courting, when we do the normal fall cycle, which is usually from October to December.
Yeah, this one's not normal. Yeah,
Yeah, this one is definitely not normal. That one you usually get like you start seeing um probably like say if it closes in December, by February you'll start seeing uh, acceptance, provisional acceptance. And what provisional means is that we're basically
yeah. But
accepting
this one's
you.
applying now. So, any feel for what'll happen
Now,
in April, May, or
right now is the deadline to apply is the end of March. It should take us about a month to kind of make
right?
that decision.
Okay,
So look for something around April, no later than May, simply because May 1st is our commitment day for our
right.
seniors, and so we don't want to lag on it too long. We want to make sure that we review it. Now, for most of these, we do have a small evaluation team currently working on some of the late applications. So yeah, it should take about a month. But don't quote me on that, because usually in other times of the year we're usually swamped with tons of other apps. Now
Right, but now, yeah.
we have a smaller caseload. So
Mhm.
so give us
And you
about a month.
extended it, so
Yes, yes, we extended it and we reopened essentially. So we closed and then we reopened.
right,
So the goal for this is to, we did a lot of outreach during Black History Month. I was on the Black College Expo, went everywhere from Oakland to San Diego, and that was my outreach recruitment unit, and it was really good to have and tell students that hey, you can still apply and not have to do a three-step process, which would require like a petition or a late application. So to remove that and actually have students be able to apply now is a blessing. A lot of things I covered today, a lot of students might not know what Cal LA may have to offer um, in some of these other programs that I mentioned. And so that was also great too. There
all
were
right. Well, you
several.
got one late applicant. Okay, Sister
Okay,
Mirjana, you have any questions or comments? That's from an 11th grade parent perspective. Trying to make sure there's no other questions over here.
please, please.
No,
Mirjana?
everything's good. Thank you, Dale. It's a lot of information. I'm just my daughter's just in the 10th grade right now, and I'm kind of new with this. That's why it's good information to listen. What's the offer that come from your school? Yeah.
Good.
Happy to share.
Yeah, I'll be in touch with you during the summer. I want to work with your daughter on the you know what.
Yeah.
I haven't forgot about her. Her and three others. We're going to use the coffee shop nearby. I'll tell you about it. It's for Lakewood people.
Okay. Well,
Okay,
thank you. I appreciate it. Appreciate your time too.
it's the job.
Okay. Well,
I want to thank you for coming, Brother Dale, and we'll be in touch about the interview. I'm serious about that,
I am
and
too.
we appreciate it. Send my regards to two people, Merjani and is Brother Lopez still there?
Yes, yes. Mr. Vince Lopez is
We
still
go
here.
back. Him and I go back 25 years. Just tell him I asked about him.
Okay, I definitely will.
He'll probably laugh. He actually helped me with the situation with a student. He thinks I don't know, but he did. I know what he did. He think he's being slick. But I tell him I know. I figured him out. We had my pastor's granddaughter, 3.7 from West LA College. She made a mistake on her application,
It
and
happens. It happens. Uh,
he got into it. They called her up the neck. I think he called her personally.
I'm glad you said that.
Good Lord. I'm like, wow, she knew before me.
Now, Deacon, one thing I do want to advise students is when you do fill out your application, most of the mistakes that
Yeah.
comes from A through G matching, where
AG
they
matching some of these transfer things too, but go ahead.
right. For the freshmen, the main thing that holds them up is they submit without having their counselors look at it. So don't do that.
Or me.
Or someone that's trained,
Yeah. Yeah.
and they just do it, and it's like, well, once it's submitted, that's all. That's all we can do. And what happens is they don't match the right classes with the
Correct.
right A through G
Right
area,
category, right.
and that will automatically get you disqualified.
Would be a problem. Yeah.
I do see that quite a bit, and I do want to put that warning out there. So,
Another one is improper understanding of validation.
mm-hmm.
They
Yes,
apply it improperly.
right.
So, like with chemistry, let's see what it is. One of them is not, you think it's true, but it's not.
And
But
then
all the other ones, it is true.
And there are several websites I know that you use to kind of make sure that we can, tell honor courses versus honor non-honor courses. Just because it has an honor course or H next to it doesn't mean it's actual going to be counted as that. And so those are some things that,
Yeah.
sometimes, oh,
Yeah.
my GPA is higher. Yeah, but not
Not really.
really.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you
Appreciate
so
you,
much,
brother.
Daniel.
No problem. I'll see you soon.
thank you. Have a good
All
night.
right. Have a good
You
night,
too.
man.
Take care. Take care.
Take care.
Bye.
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 Okay. Okay.
Thank you for
All right.
calling. I think we're still on YouTube.
Let
Just
me
on
hold. Yeah, let me